Tonight, we're going to give a complete and objective breakdown of Terence Crawford's career. Did he really fight nobodies, or is he not getting the credit he deserves? We can talk about this, highlight some key fights throughout his career. Next on the Parry. Let's get to it.
I know you won't swing, but this is the Parry.
This is the Parry.
Hook getting uppercut is getting scary.
It's getting scary.
Treasure the truth or risk getting buried.
Risk getting
I'm
killed.
on a mission, you hear me? Yeah, this is the Parry.
This is
They
the
got
Parry.
the green light if we say go.
Go.
Young Tyson, wake him up with the BK flow.
You know.
Loading up late rounds, this is TKO.
Peace. My name is Bomani UFG. Welcome to another quick jab off the Parry. Let me remind you to go ahead and jab that like button. Go ahead and uppercut that subscribe button, lead hook that share button, and throw a combination at the notification bell so you can stay updated when we drop new content. And also check us out on all forms of social media that you see right here on the screen. I want to talk about Terence Crawford, his career, his resume, and give a real objective breakdown and look at some of his opponents, some key fights that he had and when he fought them, and really assess if what people or the narrative about his career is true. That some fighters could, Canelo and Errol Spence, before their fights with Crawford, claimed that he don't have a resume, that he fought a bunch of nobodies, pretty much that he's been on a top ranked diet, as they say. But I think, we got to look at everything in context. Also consider the fact that a lot of fighters who were available to fight at that time just wouldn't fight him for one reason or another. But Terence Crawford made his debut on March 14, 2008 against Brian Cummins, who was 2-0, and he won his first fight by first round knockout. Crawford's first step up in competition was on March 30th, 2013 against Breeders Prescott from Colombia. And Prescott gave Amir Khan his first loss, knocking him out in 30 seconds in the first round. Amir Khan was 18-0 when he fought Breeders Prescott. Prescott was 3-2 in his previous 5 fights before he fought Crawford. Prescott was knocked out by Mike Alvarado 2 fights prior to fighting Crawford. Crawford was 19-0, and Prescott was 26-4 when he fought. Breeders Prescott was a scary dude, man. That knockout, pretty much the biggest win of Prescott's career was against Amir Khan, who, was looking like the next big thing in the sport, being an Olympian, had an extensive amateur background, and he was the best fighter really to come out of the UK in a long time. But he knocked him out in about 30 seconds in the first round, which was crazy. But Crawford beat Prescott by unanimous decision. Crawford's next step up was against Ricky Burns. This was his first world title attempt. He fought Burns, who was 36-2-1 for the WBO lightweight championship. The fight took place on March 1st, 2014 in Glasgow, Scotland. Crawford traveled to his backyard to win his first title, winning by unanimous decision. Burns in his previous 5 fights was 4-0-1. He beat the tough Michael Katsidis for the interim world lightweight title. He fought Raimundo Beltran to a draw. Burns also beat the rugged Puerto Rican Roman Martinez for the WBO super featherweight championship by unanimous decision. Roman Martinez was a tough out for anybody at a point in his career. I mean, he definitely was a gatekeeper, but he wasn't an easy out. And Ricky Burns was a champion, and Crawford went into his backyard, went over there, made it look easy, beat him pretty much every round, and took his strap. His next fight was on June 28th, 2014. He beat a talented and highly touted Cuban, Yuriorkis Gamboa, who was 23-0, being promoted by 50 Cent. 50 Cent was trying to make his way into the sport of boxing, and they thought they was going to make a name for Gamboa by beating Terence Crawford and taking his strap. Crawford beat Gamboa by TKO and a Fight of the Year candidate. Gamboa's biggest wins before the Crawford fight might have been against Orlando Salido, but we all know Orlando Salido gave Vasil Lomachenko his first loss, and he beat Salido by unanimous decision. And he fought Jorge Solis, whom he beat by TKO. After Gamboa, he defended his titles against Raimundo Beltran, winning by unanimous decision, whose best win was probably against Hank Lundy, and he also beat Thomas Delorme by TKO. Next, he fought the 29-1 Dirijan and the 26-5-1 Hank Lundy, defeated them both by TKO. Next, he fought the WBC champ Victor Postal, who was 28-0 in a unification battle on July 23, 2016, winning by unanimous decision. Postal was fresh of a victory over Lucas Matisse, who Lucas Matisse was also not an easy out, and Victor Postal was looking like Terminator at one point, man. Definitely a tough fighter. He was highly touted in his undefeated run to the WBC title. Crawford unified the titles, beating Victor Postal by unanimous decision. His next big fight was on August 19, 2017, against the 22-0 Julius Ndongo, who became the IBF and IBO champion after going over to Russia and knocking out the champion Edward Troyanovsky. Bad with these names. Who was 25-0. He knocked out Ndongo in the third round with two vicious body shots. I think he dropped him in the second round. He stopped him in the third round to become the undisputed lightweight champion. After winning the undisputed title at 140, he moved up to welterweight to challenge the newly crowned WBO champion, the 18-0 Jeff Horn, by TKO. The fight took place on June 2018. Horn, who was a big welterweight, previously beat the legend Manny Pacquiao by unanimous decision and was some believe was home cooking. Jeff Horn was a big dude, man. And, again, I thought him, Jeff Horn, who beat Manny Pacquiao, I did have Manny winning that fight, but nonetheless, he was a decent fighter, man. He wasn't, all right, maybe he wasn't that good. I'm going to keep it a thing. But nonetheless, he was a champion, and Crawford went up there and fought really the only champion that would fight him, because you had other guys who just wouldn't fight him, man. Moving up to the welterweight division, he called out everybody. He called out all the fighters. Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, and what they call a boogeyman. He's perceived as the boogeyman of the division, Errol Spence Jr., and there was in no rush to fight him. I believe Keith Thurman and Errol Spence pretty much told the man to go ahead and do something in the division first before they gave him a fight. And that's when that whole term, the other side of the street, came about, right? He also pursued a fight with Manny Pacquiao, but he was the cash cow top rank, and Bob Arum was in no rush to put his cash cow in the ring with this seemingly unbeatable young fighter who was coming up pretty much dominating everybody he got in the ring with, barely losing any rounds, and entering the welterweight division. He been on he got on a real serious knockout streak. After he knocked out Jeff Horn, Crawford would go on a knockout streak, and then he fought the 27-0 Jose Benavidez Jr., as well as Amir, I call him Glass Jaw Khan, who was 33-4. He fought Kowalowskis, who was 21-0 and won. He also fought the former IBF welterweight champion Kell Brook, who was 39-2, whose only losses being the Errol Spence Jr., and moving up to fight the middleweight champion Gennady Golovkin. But he finally got a chance at one of the top guys in the division. He fought the former IBF and WBC welterweight champion Showtime Sean Porter, who was no easy out for nobody. He was 31-3-1. I was actually in the building when Sean Porter beat Danny Garcia. He fought the likes of Keith Thurman. He fought Errol Spence. He beat Eudenis Ugas. He fought Kell Brook. Like, Sean Porter was no easy out for nobody. He beat some great guys. He's lost to some great guys. And he was definitely one of the top welterweights in the division. And, living up to his reputation, Sean Porter did what he had to do and got in the ring with Terence Crawford, something that nobody else on that side of the street would do. Crawford and Porter would face on November 20th, 2021 at the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas. Crawford would eventually stop Porter in the 10th round, dropping him twice, causing his father and trainer Kenny Porter to throw in the goddamn towel. And after defeating Sean Porter, Crawford would go on to KO David Avanesian before fighting the Big Fish, the IBF and WBC Unified Welterweight Champion, Errol the Truth Spence, who was 28-0 on July 29, 2023 at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. We all seen what happened, man. Crawford dropped him twice. He dropped him in the second round, and eventually he would drop him twice and ended. Well, he dropped him twice in the 7th round, and would end it in the 9th round, I believe. Making Bud the undisputed champion at welterweight and becoming the first male fighter in the 4-belt era to become a 2-time undisputed champion. I mean, that beatdown of Errol Spence was, I think nobody predicted that. It clearly showed that he was levels above the best guy in the division. And while, some people can argue why none of these guys wanted to fight him, he was just too dangerous. And he continued his knockout streak, knocking out the best fighter, what was perceived as the best fighter and the boogeyman in the welterweight division. And after beating Earth, Wind, and Fire out of Spence, Bud moved up to the super welterweight division to face Israel Majimov, who was 10-0-1 on August 3rd, 2024 for the interim WBO title at 154. People just wanted to see how Crawford would look moving up to 154. The Charlo fight fell through, which would have been box office if we got Jermell Charlo versus Terence Crawford. But Jermell Charlo dared to be great, moving up to fight Canelo Alvarez, and pretty much was on a run for his life. You know what I mean? The whole fight. So that fight fell through. So we ended up fighting Israel Majimov for the WBO title. He beat him by unanimous decision. I don't think anybody really had an argument with that, even though Eddie Hearn was trying to make a claim like just because Crawford maybe didn't look the best in that fight that, Majimov should have got the victory, but absolutely not. Crawford pretty much, in my opinion, showed that he was the bigger, stronger man, and Israel Majimov pretty much moved around the whole fight. But in his last fight, he would jump 2 divisions to fight superstar, future Hall of Famer, and super middleweight undisputed champion Saul Canelo Alvarez, who was 63-2-2, in an attempt at making history to become the first and only 3-time undisputed champion in the 4-belt era. And on September 13, 2025 at Allegiant Stadium, Crawford would dominate another pound-for-pound fighter, winning by unanimous decision to do what some thought was impossible against a fighter who started at 130 pounds. I mean, this man started at 130, moved up to 135, 140, 147, 154, then jumped 2 weight classes to fight the undisputed champion. Clearly on his resume, the best fights on his resume would be Errol Spence and Canelo Alvarez. He won undisputed in both those fights, dominated both those fights, showed that he was levels above both those fighters. And I think Canelo did what he could. Canelo did what he could against Terence Crawford, but we're not arguing about Canelo or Errol Spence. We want to talk about the Breeders' Prescotts and the Amir Khans and the Kell Brooks, the Ricky Burnses. Well, we got to look at, again, when he fought these guys. Breeders' Prescott was fresh off a 30-second victory over Amir Khan, who, again, was looked at as a future superstar in the sport. Ricky Burns was out here fighting good fighters, was a champion, 2-division champion, beating Roman Martinez, who's a tough out. He made a name for himself, and he got the strap, got his first chance at a world title. The Avanesians and the guys of that ilk that he had to fight he pretty much fought these guys because Errol Spence, Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, the top guys in the division, Manny Pacquiao, they wouldn't fight him. They wouldn't fight him. You can only fight who is willing to fight you. But is his resume a bunch of nobodies? In my opinion, I'm going to say no. Is it the best resume? No, it's not. It's not some of the top names in the sport. Does that knock him down a notch in comparison to, I would say, the Floyd Mayweathers or the Sugar Ray Leonards? And possibly. But I think you got to look at his career in context. Understand that the best fighters at the time would not fight him. And in order to really stamp his name in the history books, the man jumped up 2 weight classes to fight another pound-for-pound fighter and dominated him. Whenever he stepped up and fought the best competition, he dominated them. But objectively speaking, Terence Crawford's resume is respectable. I'm going to say that. It's respectable. Because if you know who these guys who he fought was at the time he fought them, it's respectable. And Terence Crawford, I think after beating Canelo Alvarez, proved that he's the greatest fighter of this generation. But that's my take on Terence Crawford's resume, my quick breakdown and observation of some of the fighters that he fought. Y'all go ahead and tell me what y'all think. Leave a comment in the comment section. Tell me what you think about, Crawford's resume, some of the fighters he fought. And, let's chat about it, man. But yo, I just want to remind y'all, go ahead and jab that like button, uppercut that subscribe button, lead hook that share button, and throw a combination at the notification bell so you can stay updated when we drop new content. And remember, this is the Parry, but we don't pull or duck no punches. And the Parry is fundamental to boxing. Until next time, I'm Bomani UFG, and I'm out of here. Peace.
Actually, now we're going to show you how to catch the jab. Actually, in boxing, it's called parrying.